Hey there, welcome back to Alberta Skylights. My name is Trevor, and this is Ryan. He is the owner and CEO of Alberta Skylights, and today we're going to be talking about something a little bit different. It's skylight related. It's called a sun tunnel. So what is a sun tunnel, and why should we have them? What's a sun tunnel?
The sun tunnel is a tubular skylight. It's just a round piece of pipe that goes through your roof into your ceiling, lets a lot of light, collects it from the roof, and can do some really good wonders in the right spaces.
Now, sun tunnel is a brand or a product name from Velux.
That's right. You might also hear them called Solitubes. Is another brand of them.
Yeah, Solitube is the brand, and that's who I think first came up with the concept of the round tubular style of skylight. And really, you can focus light into one particular area. So pantries, laundry rooms, these types of things, closets.
It's really good for you.
And so tell us, why would somebody want to get a sun tunnel versus a skylight?
The skylights are a lot more intrusive into your home. We have to cut a lot of the drywall out. We have to take and build a insulated well. They're a lot bigger. Skylights let in a lot more light, but they're also a lot more expensive to put in. Sun tunnels, we can put them in typically 3 hours. They go in spaces where a skylight might not be able to. So a lot of times your roof will have I don't know if you're familiar with framing, but like on a cottage roof where you have a hip, the framing won't allow for a skylight because it doesn't go the right way. So sometimes can go in places like that. We've seen places where customers have had an addition put on their house and there's still the old roof in the attic. So we can go through that roof with the new one and not alter any of the structure. They're a lot more versatile.
Right. Yeah. And so what are some of the advantages of the sun tunnel versus a skylight? And then we'll get into maybe some of the disadvantages.
Sure. So a big advantage of the sun tunnel is the ease of installation and the cost. I mean, sun tunnel install, probably $1,400, give or take. A skylight install, you can get upwards of $6,000, $8,000 easily in that regard. A lot of times people don't need a huge amount of light. Like if you put one sun tunnel in a bathroom, it's going to be insanely bright. And you put one skylight in there, it's just overkill.
Right.
So you putting them in the right places, difficult access, that's kind of where they excel.
All right. Now, what are some problems with sun tunnels?
So a lot of times people, depending on how they're installed, I guess is the bigger caveat on that one there. A lot of times people will see a bunch of debris in the sun tunnel. Sometimes people will see condensation in the winter times in there. Those usually come down to how they're installed though.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that. So what would cause debris to collect inside this sun tunnel?
So when we install a sun tunnel and we're in the attic, our goal is to make sure that there is zero visible light coming through that tube whatsoever. We do that for 2 reasons. The first one is it keeps all the debris, all the insects out of there. The second thing of it is it also creates an airtight seal in that tube, which is where you get most of your insulative values, just that trapped airspace. So if you have an improper seal in there, all of a sudden you get hot meeting cold. You can end up with condensation in that spot. Further, you get up with insects in there. It's kind of how you end up with debris in your tunnel. If you have your sun tunnel installed properly, you should never have to clean it. It should just be a maintenance-free issue.
Okay, well that's good.
Yeah.
Now, what are why would you get condensation, or what happens with condensation, and how do you fix something like that?
The condensation comes from air from inside getting into that tunnel, meeting with above your insulation is unconditioned space. It should be the same temperature as it is outside. So whenever you got hot, warm air getting into that tunnel and it'll create condensation inside of it. The sun tunnels do have a semi-permeable membrane on the top, so any water should wick out on the top, but excessive condensation that's built up in there, it's going to leak down. You're going to see it inside. It'll look like you're missing a goldfish on your fish bowl in the ceiling there. So we can fix that in a handful of ways. The first one is making sure that it's sealed airtight right at the bottom. There's energy kits that come with it, so you get an extra pane in there. It's almost like a triple pane array in there. We have ancillary gaskets we can put in there. We spray foam the ceiling so that there's no air getting up through there. There's lots of ways we can make it done. We can make it proper. Yeah.
Nice. And so let's say, who's a good candidate for a sun tunnel?
Good candidates for sun tunnels would be people who want light in their bathrooms, their own suites, their pantries, spaces that are enclosed. Sun tunnels shine so good when they're in a tight space, small areas where that light just has to be focused and dispersed right there. If you take and put a sun tunnel in a giant space, like in a living room or, over a kitchen, the light just gets filtered out so quickly. When you take a look at the square inches of what a sun tunnel could collect versus a skylight, it just becomes obvious. Like, what would the math on that be? 3.14 r squared, 14.7, probably about 150, 160 square inches of collection on a 14-inch sun tunnel, whereas a 2 foot by 2 foot skylight, there's just way more light coming through.
Right.
So the ideal candidate or ideal place for a sun tunnel would be where you don't need a tremendous amount of light and the light can stay on one spot. It's just going to be a lot more brilliant, really good bang for your buck.
All right. And they're maintenance free?
Yep, absolutely. Nice thing about them, they go in fairly quick, like you say, about 3 hours. If they're installed properly, you should pretty much be able to just come in and forget them.
Okay, I had a question about the materials.
Yeah.
Are they like the skylights? Are they glass or are they acrylic? Or what are they?
So on the ceiling line, it's a plastic diffuser, and you can.
That's inside the house.
It's inside the house.
Yeah.
You can actually take that apart and put different lenses in there, so you can have like bubble or prismatic effect or whichever you'd like. You can get them relatively inexpensive to change that out. The tunnel itself is made out of highly polished aluminum. It's ultra reflective. You actually have fire warnings on the box because if you don't have it hooked up, it can start a fire from magnifying glass with the ants in there.
Okay.
Then on the roof, you have a dome that goes through and it has an acrylic top to it. And that acrylic top is what I said has the permeable membrane, semi-permeable membrane in there, and the wicking, everything goes through in there, ties into your roofing system seamlessly. You can also put them on flat roofs. It's a little bit of a different process. If that curb on there, it's doable. Yeah. You can get them in commercial. They come in 10-inch, 14-inch, or 22-inch. So you get some really, really big sun tunnels in there. We put some in we put a couple of them in a dental office. They had drop ceilings, and our diffuser actually just replaced the drop ceiling. So it's like seamless install.
Very nice. Right. Okay, so if somebody is looking to get that, can you do that in the wintertime?
Depending on the application, we can do anything in the wintertime. Just got to get the snow off the roof to get in there. The vast majority of the work is done inside the attic and inside the house. The roofing part is, only open for a little bit, so it's not a big deal.
Okay, one of the last steps, I guess.
Yeah, we get everything in the house up through the roof. And the last bit, we just pull the shingles apart the roof and put it in there. No structural modifications. It's all pretty simple install.
Perfect. Well, that's great. Well, there you have it, folks. There's a little bit more information on sun tunnels or solar tubes is another name you can call them. But you, in particular, install the Velux sun tunnel brand of those things. And if you guys are interested in getting that done, contact Alberta Skylights, and he'll be happy to come out, give you a quote, and get you and brighten up your day, brighten up your life, brighten up your house with a sun tunnel. We'll see you guys next time.
Thanks for watching.